Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma here. It's the weekend, and it's as I've been saying. Obviously, I've been hitting the cinema quite a lot of late. So we did two this week. So as you will know, yesterday's review, Wicked Little Letters, has gone up, and obviously today's it is the third Demon Slayer movie, the Hashira Training. So this is an anime movie. This is from or taken from the storyline from Demon Slayer. This is about the main protagonist, Hanjiro. Um, his family are attacked by demons. His sister is turned into a demon, and then he trains to avenge it and carries his demonic sister around with him, trying to get the kind of Dracula type bad guy. This has been going on quite a few years now. Obviously, there's only been 3 main seasons. So we had the first season, first of all, which was an introduction into the world of Demon Slayer. Then we had the amazing first movie, Mugen Train. Absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend that movie enough. We then moved into the second series after Mugen Train, which was the District arc. And then from that, you then got the second Demon Slayer movie, which is on my channel, was released last year, which is quite good. It covered the last 2 to 3 episodes of the District arc, which was a great fight started off with, and then it had the first episode of the Swordsmith Village. So the film was titled I think Journey to the Swordsmith, or the Swordsmith, or the Sword. Yeah, I think it's Swordsmith Village. But basically, it was basically just taken straight from the series. It had the last few episodes of the District arc and 1 episode, I think it was, of the Swordsmith Village. So basically, had started off really big fight stuff, and then it built up for the next season, which I thought was really, really great. I really enjoyed that. It then obviously carried on into season 3, which was or comprised of the Swordsmith Village, and then we have this third film, which is obviously the Hashira Training. Hashira are obviously what the good guys are kind of called in this, but when it starts off, it starts off very much like the second film did, and unfortunately it comprises half of what is essentially the Swordsmith Village arc. So it has the last 2 episodes of, which is all about Tanjiro mainly, and Nezuko, who is his sister. There is quite a few developments there, and then obviously the second half of it, how it's kind of split, is kind of filler episodes or building up episodes of the Hashira Training and what they learn after the Swordsmith Village arc. They tried to adapt, so it's very like 50-50. There was nothing after the credits as far as I was aware, because I left. And unfortunately, this is the kind of first one I come out a bit disappointed in. Yeah. I say, if you like the film, if you like the series, it's nice to go watch, but it's nowhere as good as the first or second movie, and unfortunately I feel that these are getting a little worse as quality goes, and I can see the reasoning for that. But anyway, let's slap the spoiler warning up and let's get into it. So as I said, so this movie starts, if you've seen Demon Slayer, you need to have seen up to the Swordsmith Village arc, and this is the final 2 episodes as far as I could tell from that battle. So you have the 2 higher-uppers. There was only 1 left that can split himself into multiple ones, and he has all the different Demon Slayer characters fighting with Tanjiro, kind of fighting the main body with Nezuko following in suit, and a few other oddball characters here. This is kind of a hide and seek, and there's a few developments and stuff, and I thought this fight, very much so in the series, worked far better because it builds it up, so this character, or the main demon he's after, can split into loads of different versions, and the tongue, and you don't get that if you come into it, or if you haven't seen it for a while, you don't get that built up for you, which I think it did really, really well in the series. Obviously Tanjiro goes through quite a few fighting and a few kind of level ups, so to speak, in this movie, to finally beat the bad guy, and Nezuko unfortunately is left out in the sun. In this world, demons, sunlight kills them. They kill the upper level and Nezuko is almost burned alive, and then you realise she can survive, and it's kind of this realisation is what they kind of focus this movie about. This is kind of the central point. You have, let's say, 2 episodes kind of here and 2 episodes here, more or less, and then you have kind of this revelation in the middle. So it's kind of this point, even though it's about the Hashira training, again, they kind of name these really funny, I think. Obviously, having already seen this, the first half of the movie is me just going over it. I say, to me, I enjoyed it more as a series because the series built that fight up and you got to learn more about the characters. And obviously, this was teased in the previous movie, so the Swordsmith arc was all teased in that at the very beginning. And I think watching it then worked really well. Learning that there is some curse mark was nice to know. It was a little bit of development for the story, because that's how you go. Obviously she can survive, and this is the whole point of his sister can survive daylight, and this is what the main boss has been after. So this is obviously setting up, I assume, what is potentially the final arc. I haven't read any of the books or anything, so I don't know where this is going, but I'm assuming that looks like where it's leading to. And it's all about the good guys. Within the last battle, they had this kind of power up, and they're kind of trying to learn to bring that back on and training all their troops ready, because obviously now they have a person on their team who can survive daylight. They believe that's what they're going to be attacked. So, you know, I get that the story does make sense. But how did I say? I was very disappointed. I mean, Mugen Train was great. Mugen Train basically is a part of a story. Like in this, they do very good at keeping it to small arcs. 5 or 6 episodes of a small arc. Now, Mugen Train was kind of the first arc after the first series and worked really well as a movie. It was absolutely great. It had a great ending, and I'm not going to say any more than that. If you haven't seen it or seen the Demon Slayer, it was great as a movie. Definitely recommend. Now the second one, I say, they invoked this different one. They basically took the second, or the series goes series 1, then series 2 is split. So Mugen Train is kind of incorporated as the first part of season 1, and then you have the district arc, which is the second part. And that's what season 2 is. And obviously the second movie just took kind of the last section that took the main battle of that film or that series, and then just put a tiddly bit like the first episode or a prelude to season 3 on there, which I think worked really well. It was a nice, it kind of switched the whole dynamic of how the first film. So the first film was story, you learn along the lines, you know, you've only had like 13 episodes to build these characters, and Izuka and all the main cast and stuff like that, and newer cast to come in. And you know, and that, it was well done, it was well built, it was well built up. You know, Mugen Train ends in a big battle. Now the second series, they kind of reversed that. You had the big battle at the beginning, because that's where it kind of started off, but it kind of started off as the kind of fight that only just ish started. You had it, and it was 2 characters, and you got to learn like the brother and sister, and there was a link to it, and that worked really, really well. And by the end of it, you are kind of like 2/3 of the way through the second movie going, oh my god, that was great, how did they end it? And they just ended on the fact they just continue the story, but they tease the next arc. And that, to me, that worked really well. I really, really enjoyed that. It was something fresh and a little bit different. Yes, it was just taking episodes from the series and not kind of a complete arc, so it was something different than Mugen Train, but I think this worked well. It was a nice change, specifically if you watch anime, because most anime movies are essentially that. There's a story, they build it up, they have this massive final fight at the end, so the second movie did it well. Now this is 50-50, and this is, I say, where I feel this has very lost a lot of traction for me, this arc, because of the different powers of the bad guys and stuff like that. And I mean, there's other battles going on that you don't really see until he defeats this boss, and you kind of get to see this 1 to 2 versions of this boss as it swaps. But there's other versions going fighting other characters, and that is whole, you know, discounted from that. And obviously if you've not really seen it, or you're just going into this movie, or you haven't seen the series in a long while, you forget all that, and saying the tension doesn't build, and it kind of, I say, it all gets to that and gets to the realisation that Nezuko can be in the sun, which we all kind of knew about, and then they kind of throw what would essentially almost feel like filler episodes to me in, that it's just like, right, they need to do the training. There's no pre-warning that anything else is coming. There is, I mean, the only good thing about those 2 episodes is you have 2 of the other Hashira. You get to see fighting this temple on, and basically inside the temple is where the bad guys were, and that little bit was great. It was great to see that, and I really wish there maybe had been more or something like that to prelude. But yeah, I mean, overall, I must admit, I give this a 5 out of 10. It was very average. I say it's just like they plucked a few episodes. As I say, like the first one was one complete arc. Then you kind of get most of an arc with a little bit of teaser. Again, works quite well. Then you get kind of the end half of an arc, which I said it needed that development for you to better understand and enjoy this second half. And then kind of filler, but doesn't have enough kind of glimpse into the future or warning or something's going to come to build you up for it. You're just kind of like, oh, great. Right, where's the next episode to then build that something's going to happen? And that wasn't there, and it just kind of leaves you a bit flustered. And that's how I thought coming out of the movie. When it ended, I was like, no, that was not the greatest way to end it. And I say that it's just, I understand the point of them using arcs as a movie. Like Mugen Train worked really well, and it was good because I think Mugen Train, I don't believe, had been released until it was at the cinema first before it was on TV. And whereas some of these other arcs have been released and people have seen them before it comes out of the cinema, and it's only the extra little bit at the end. But I honestly, as Demon Slayer movies go, I feel they're getting progressively worse. Keep it to an arc, you know. I say, like, the first film did great, the second movie was something different, and it was nice and refreshing, and I think because it was nice and refreshing, I enjoyed it a bit more. This third one, I say, was just disappointing. It's a bit of a shame. I mean, if you're a Demon Slayer, if you've seen the stuff on TV, I'd just wait for the next series and watch it. I don't think you need to go and see this personally. Anyway, that has been my review for Demon Slayer, the Hashira Village, Hashira Training even. Apologies. Have you seen this? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you want to do, and I shall see you in the next one.